record. All right, let's just get the angle here. Okay, Baruch Hashem, we're starting today a new chapter in life, and especially in the way of Hashem. We're on page 74, chapter 5, which is the last and final chapter of section 1. So should be finishing chapter 1, section 1 in the next couple of weeks. I mean, it's a long chapter. Then we'll start section 2, which talks about hashgacha, like how we actually experience Hashem in the world. Like, what is He doing? So that's exciting. Okay.
What page?
74 in the Hebrew, or 75 in the English. Perek Chamishi b'chelekei habri'a u'matzavehem. Okay, now we're going to look at the different categories of beings, like, who exists here in this world. All right, so paragraph 1, Chelkei kelal habri'a hem gashmiyim v'ruchaniyim. Okay, if you want to just generalize, everything that's created falls into one of two categories, either physical or spiritual. Hagashmiyim hem hamurgashim mechushenu. Okay, the definition of material, physical, is that you could pick it up with one of your senses. Umitchalkim le'elyonim v'tachtonim. And they're also subdivided into the lower beings and the upper beings. Ha'elyonim hem kalal ha'garamim ha'shemimiyim, dahainu ha'galgalim v'kochavehem. Okay, when we speak about the upper realm of the physical world, talking about the stars, the moon, space. Okay, but it's physical, meaning because you could see them and sense them with your physical senses. Ha'tachtonim hem kalal masha b'chalal ha'galgal tachton. And when we say the lower physical beings, it's everything which is in the what's called the lower sphere. Right? The Rambam separates the different zones, so to speak, of space into different spheres. So everything under the moon is called the lower sphere. Okay, like from here until the moon is the lower sphere. Dahainu ha'aretz, earth, mayim, water, avir, right, air, v'chol ma shebehem, min ha'gufim ha'murgashim. Okay, all that we can pick up with our senses in this lower sphere are called the lower beings. Everything beyond the moon, like Mars, Venus, Saturn, etc., those are called the upper spheres. And for sure, like the further and further stars that you can only see with a very intense microscope. Okay, but they're still considered part of the physical world. Ruchaniim, so then what defines spiritual beings? Heim nivraim mesholalim imigeshem. They have no physicality whatsoever to them. Bilti murgashim imichushenu. None of your senses could sense them. Right? You can't see them, you can't smell them, you can't hear them. They're beyond the physical senses. Umitchalkim l'shnei minim. And they also are subdivided into two species, or two types of spiritual beings. Ha'echad neshamot. Okay, one of them is called souls. Vasheni nivdalim. And then there are the ones who are considered separate. She's going to explain what that means by separate. Okay, what's unique about souls is that they are destined to enter into physical bodies. Okay, they literally are inside the body. Right, we have a soul inside of us that's keeping us alive. It's moving us, helping us see. Right, but you can't see it.
Is there ever a soul that's created not with the intention of being in a body?
Then it's not called a soul. No. Okay, so okay, a soul is destined, was created to be part of a body, like to be involved in bodily things, and to be connected very intensely with the body. And also it activates the body. Right? Without a soul, the body is just like a rock; it doesn't move. Bizmanim shonim, depending on the times, right? There's different things that the soul gets activated to do. Now, hanivdalim. Now, when we say the transcendent spiritual forms, heimemin nivraim ruchanim bilti meutadim legufot klal. Okay, they have no connection to entering a body. I mean, they have effects on the body, which we will see from the outside, but they don't enter into bodies. And also these transcendental forces, actually these transcendental beings, are also divided into two categories. One are simply called forces. Okay, which in other books we're going to see that this is what we refer to as the Sfirot. Okay, but since he wrote this book after he was forbidden to write Kabbalah, so he changed the terms. Yes, whenever he says kochot nivdalim, which means transcendental forces, he's referring to the Sfirot. Okay, because it doesn't say the word sfirot in this book.
So the sphirot have its own life force, like it's a living thing?
Mm-hmm. They're created beings that Hashem created to have specific functions.
Sphirot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he didn't say that yet, but he will soon. Throughout the next chapters, you refer back to what's called kochot, nivdalim. Koch means a potential, an ability, a power. Okay, but they're nivdal, meaning that they're not, they don't enter into bodies.
Was there a version of this before the censorship, or
No.
he wrote this one?
He wrote this later, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, he was censored at 20. He was forbidden to write books on Kabbalah, even though he did anyway, but that was later. Once he moved to Amsterdam, there nobody bothered him. So he was able to write a whole bunch of books.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying, sorry, that they're separate and potential? Sorry, it's potential that's separate from each other, or separate from physicality?
From physicality, yeah.
Not from each other. Okay. Thank you.
And from each other, they intertwine. Right? As you see, like, like for example, like there's the Gvura, Shebechesed, etc., etc. Right. Okay, so that's one category of separate. Meaning, whenever I say separate in this context, it means separate from bodies. Okay, they don't enter into bodies. Hasheni malachim, and the second category is called angels. Okay, now angels also, as we know from like the different dreams people have, or the angels that visited Avraham, they didn't actually enter into a body, but they made themselves appear as if they had a body, right, like a hologram.
So, but angels can be sensed by the eye.
Sort of. Yeah, you could train the eye, but it's not. Exactly, no, but that's again, it's an inner eye. Like you don't see like, whoa, look at the angel. That's not how you experience him.
Right, but Avraham Avinu, by Pshat, he didn't know that they were angels until they revealed themselves as angels.
Mm-hmm.
So, with his naked eye,
right, we're going to see, because they actually they interact with the spiritual world more than the sfirot. The sfirot simply affect the world, right? They're just constantly beaming down different energies into the world, whereas the angels are actually part of the world, but you can't sense them. But there is a way, for example, he's going to talk soon about this also, he talks about it in the Talmud, actually doesn't mention it here. He talks about in the Talmud how there's this whole ritual that you could do to prepare yourself to be able to experience angels. And it says Avraham was on that level. Actually, all the Avot. But it's not recommended because they'll freak you out.
Why? Do they look weird?
Some of them.
They're like crazy stuff, like a bunch of eyes and wings.
I mean, that's the way they appear. Like if you ever...
it describes it, I think,
in Yecheskel. Right, in Yecheskel, he says he saw the angels that have six wings and 4 faces and
feet of an eagle and like a bunch of
like people,
like serpents with 4 heads and like.
Sounds like movies are made these days.
So if you summon them, you can go. It's like as if you're schizophrenic. You can be diagnosed as schizophrenic.
I guess so.
No, I'm saying that. I'm curious if you think. No, I'm actually curious if you think that you're gonna summon that one of us are gonna summon an angel, and we're gonna know
anything could happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Just the skills, we could do anything.
Right.
All right. It's not recommended.
Right.
But in any case, once you get to a certain spiritual level, so then you're more sensitive to spiritual beings. Morning. Right. So again, here's you can't see them on a daily basis. Like you're driving your car and all of a sudden you see like an angel fly by. Like that doesn't happen. But if you're living on a certain heightened spiritual level, so then you have spiritual senses where you can sense spiritual things, but it's not through the physical senses. Okay, when it says Avraham saw, right, or when Moshe Rabbeinu saw the bush burning, right, that was a spiritual thing happening because it didn't actually burn, right? It appeared as fire. But again, that's something we'll talk about in section 3. It talks more about the different spiritual levels. In any case, we're just introducing the different categories of beings that are created for the sake of earth. And in the category of transcendental beings, there are kochot, forces, and there's malachim, which are angels. V'gam heim mima'alot rabot v'shonot. Okay, and in each of these categories, there are various degrees of species. V'lehem chukim tiv'iyim b'metziutam. They also have their own laws of nature that determine how they behave. Kefi ma'alotehem u'madrigotam. Depending on what level they're on, and the degree of interaction that they have closer to Earth or further from Earth. Right? For example, there's like an angel that's in charge of wind, right? But then he has lower beings of angels that are in charge of specific, like which trees are going to affect, which trees are going to uproot, which branches are going to break, like all these things. But then there's like the one that's in charge of wind. Okay, he'll talk a lot more about angels in section 2.
And is it like
obviously Hashem's sending the angels to do things, but it's kind of the same way that like if I have a business, I like send all my little minions to like do my things, but like I don't necessarily know what's going on. Like the angels are the ones breaking the stick, or Hashem. Like
no, but we'll see.
Like
This, like, the question is like, why does he need angels? Why can't Hashem just decide, okay, this stick is now going to break?
Right, and he can do all these things at once.
Exactly. But as we'll see in section 2, to maintain our free will, it has to appear that there are separate forces engaged in the world.
This is how Rabbi Akiva, no, not Rabbi Akiva. Remember the four people that went into parties? One of them went crazy?
Yeah.
Right? So I think this is how he went crazy. He's like, what? How's there angels and this and that? And he saw the angel carrying the tefillah of Klal Yisrael, and he went cuckoo luku.
Right. He saw the angel sitting on the throne of glory. Right.
Yeah.
In the world of Bria. That's what freaked him out.
And he's like, wait, it's not the shit.
So actually, no, he came down to earth and then he became crazy. He didn't die. There's one that died that simply, he's like, this is more fun up here than down in my body. I don't want to go back. Yeah, because again, we mentioned a few times ago, he wasn't married, didn't have kids. There was nothing holding him here. Yes, that's one of the sources where the Ashkenazim teach that you shouldn't delve into that level of Kabbalah unless you're married with kids and you have something. That's where it comes from. Yeah.
Grounded, so you're not like screw all the world, you know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Some of the Chabad Rebbeim, when they would say a Maimar, which is close to Bracha, they were speaking from what Hashem was telling them, and they held on to the table. Like the Chassidim saw, they were holding on to the table.
Or like you hold onto the tablecloth, or like didn't the
Because
Rabbi
their neshama wouldn't have like Klat HaNefesh, like to just go up. Just hold on to something physical to like stay down here, because it was literally like Hashem was speaking through.
Yeah, think it was Rabbi Meir from the Mishnah. He said when he studied, he used to hold onto his stender so tight that his fingers would bleed. Like he was like so like trying not to like fly away. Yeah. Like literally, like his fingers would be bleeding after he finished learning. Yeah. Okay, in any case, we're skipping ahead of ourselves here. So angels have different laws that govern them, just like there's physical laws here on earth, right? There's also laws that govern the angels and the sfirot and the souls. Like everything is its own category. As Rabbi... No, it's Strive for Truth. Strive for Truth? Who was Strive for Truth?
Tell the truth, yeah.
Rabbi Eliyahu Dessler. Rabbi Eliyahu Dessler describes that there are different... what defines a world... Actually, he talks about it over here also. But when we say there's different worlds, what does that mean? Every world has its own beings and its own laws that govern it. Okay, and they might overlap, but they're different. But if you're living in the physical world, so then there's certain laws that govern you. If you lift yourself up over the physical world, so then there's different laws that govern you. That is what they say. For example, the Ger Hasidim, right? There's a Hasidim from Gur. And one of their mantras that they tell themselves every day is like, we are the descendants of Avraham Avinu. We are above nature. That's what they keep drilling into themselves, that we are above nature. And also the Malbim explains, like on his Pirush on the Torah, that there's two ways that Hashem governs the world. One is called nature, and one is called above nature. One is the name Elokim, and one is the name Yikre Vavke. And it says, the more you're able to overcome your nature, so then you merit to be guided more by the above nature way of Hashgacha. Okay, which again we'll get to in section 2.
Are all these beings considered that they were created for the sake of Earth? For the sake
of the human being, yeah.
Like the
everything that exists,
for the sake.
Yeah, including also the Sfirot, yeah, everything. Right? In other words, like we say higher or lower, not because they're greater or less great. The term higher and lower in Kabbalah refers to level of influence. Okay, so they have more influence over us than I do. Right? But then it says that the tzaddikim are able to have higher influence than the angels even. To the point where we see that Avraham Avinu, Yaakov, says that he sent angels to go out and work for him. So once a person lifts himself up over the physical, so then they could interact more with angels. And then if they keep going up, they actually have control over angels, which we're going to see in section 2 that we are not allowed to do that. Unless... yeah, because basically it's like you're taking Hashem's tools and using them for your own personal interest. Right, which could get deep trouble for, and they might even kill you. Yeah.
Guys, this is real, by the way.
Bella's like disappointed, like she was really planning on tomorrow having like an army of angels.
No, it says, for example, the Mekubalim, sometimes they do utilize the angels, but only for the sake of all of Klal Yisrael, not for their own personal use. And so, like, I don't feel really good today. Angel, could you just take me back home? I don't feel like walking. And it's just like whoop,
Nowadays we have robots.
This is how.
It's like we have robots.
This is how.
like the Baal Shem Tov used to just transcend time and space. Yeah. Right, but he only did those things for the sake of Am Yisrael, not just because he was lazy.
But he worked with angels.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Special.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm done.
All right, now we're going to go into something which he mentions but does not bring it up again. But this always, I remember every year I teach this paragraph. Everyone starts to ask too many questions, so hold back on your questions. Now, v'ulam nimtza min echad shel nivraim. There's another type of being. Okay, we're now on page 76.
Oh, it's about aliens?
No.
Oh, baby.
Shehu kemo emtsa'i bein ruchani v'gashmi. Okay, there's something that's like intermediate, in between the physical and the spiritual. V'hainu shebe'emet einu murgash michushenu. On the one hand, he's not physical, so you can't sense them with your senses. V'gam einu nigbal b'chol gvulei hageshem hamurgash v'chukav. It's also not bound by any of the physical laws. Umitzad zeh nikre'ehu shalo b'diktuk ruchani. Okay, so because of that, we call it a spiritual being, but it's not really spiritual. Aval nivdal bineno min hasug hamalachi, because he's not exactly an angel. Af al pi shitdemelo be'ezeh bechinot, even though there are some things that this being has in common with angels. Ve'yesh lo chukim pratiim ugvulim miyuchadim, but it has its own laws and its own boundaries, right? Its own limitations. Kefi mitziutam be'emet, according to their true nature. V'nikra zeh hamin hashediyi. Okay, the species is called demons. Shehu min hashedim. There's actually a species called demon. Yeah. Now v'ulam gam hu yitchalek lepratim achadim. It also gets divided into different categories, just like when we say bugs, there's different types of bugs. When we say birds, different kinds of birds. Okay, so too in angels, and so too in the shedim. She'ashuv hamin achlali sug lagabehem vehem minim elav. Okay, so they're actually their own species. Okay, so they're in between spiritual because they have more spiritual aspects than physical, but they're not on the level of the angels. Okay, so again, he doesn't mention them again in his book at all. Doesn't describe them. He talks about them a little bit in his book, I think, 138 Gates of Wisdom. But basically, he just wants us to know that they exist, but he doesn't talk about their function and what's going on.
He's like, don't interact with these people like this.
You should know they exist. Okay, what they are exactly, he doesn't really tell you. So.
Where else do we see them?
Shading?
Yeah.
We don't.
Like
I mean, they're mentioned in the Talmud. They're mentioned sometimes they possess people.
There's no is it mention of it
In
in Tanakh?
Tanakh? In Tanakh, I think it's called more ruach shtut. Right? There's a
that's foolishness.
yeah, like a ruach enters you that tells you to do something foolish, and it's not coming from a place of like seichel or. And I mean, it's mentioned kind of in allusion to like where did Avraham Avinu start his career? In Ur Kasdim. Right? Ur Kasdim is Ur. It's a light, but it's kishedim. It's like something because the word shed literally means a breast. Right? It's like a source of sustenance, and it's related to the word that we have actually on the mezuzah, Hashem's name, Shin Daled Yud.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that's my shed. Okay, that's my source of sustenance where I suckle from, not from these external forces, which Avraham Avinu had to make that distinction. That was his first challenge, was that he was thrown into Ur Kasdim. He was thrown into the fire, meaning that the world of the ta'avot, the inner fire that's telling you, ooh, this will give you energy, ooh, this will make you excited, this will give you all these different things. So the first job of somebody who wants to go on the path of Avraham and to become Yehudi, is you have to get past this shading.
In what ways, like, with this shade?
Tries to convince. It's like the beginning of Avodah Zarah. Like literally, like it's like you don't have to serve Hashem. You could just do this, like this, and this, and this, and everything will be fine.
It's like Harry Potter. It's
Like the medicine community.
That's why we have a mezuzah on every single door. Every time you are mentioned many, many times that Hashem is my.
Yeah. Shomer Zlatot Yisrael. That's what I learned.
Yeah.
Shin Daled stands for
Yeah.
Shomer Zlatot Yisrael.
But I feel like I only know about like demons and this concept from like very Christian.
Yeah, I mean,
why do we-
they took it to an
Like,
extreme.
so it's like their idea, like why did Hashem? No, I'm saying their idea is that like why I understand their idea of why their God created demons. Like why did Hashem? Why do we have these things? Like,
Right, so again, he doesn't talk about it in the book. I guess that's not, he's talking more about how do we interact with Hashem. And she says, no, there are these obstacles
Okay.
that you might encounter. And actually, Rabbi Ginsburg says it's a very interesting, we have two sources of the Shin Dalid in our lives. One is Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, starts with Shin, ends with Dalid. And the second one is Shiviti Hashem L'negdi Tamid. Right, they both start with a Shin and with a Dalid. Those are our Shadim, so to speak. That's what we use to overcome them.
That's cool.
Yeah, that everything is from Hashem, and He's always here, and
My great grandmother
less distracted.
My great grandmother says if I don't make my bed shake, the shadim like have fun on my bed. I don't know. They're like she's like spirits go around your bed.
That's
She's like,
so.
Yeah, again, like in the Talmud, there are like a lot of different
Why?
speech about them. They say, for example, not to like keep food under your bed.
No, but it sounds like a.
her father was
It
Talmud
sounds
Chacham. My
like-
great grandma's still alive.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Her father was Talmud Chacham in Uzbekistan.
Okay, now we're going to go to the next paragraph. Okay, we're still on page 76. The paragraph before paragraph 2. Okay, now humans are unique. Because we are actually a composition, a compound of two opposing factors. Okay, we are the only beings that have a neshama and a guf. Okay, there is no other being that exists other than humans that has also a body and also a soul. And here to be careful, so you don't make the mistake to think that animals are like humans.
Oh.
Right? Because people say, oh, there's an animal soul. This is something very unique. I haven't seen in other svarim. It says the nefesh habahamit is a physical thing. Okay, it's not a soul. It's not a spiritual being.
No, Bahamit is in the blood. It's our blood.
It's in the blood.
It's in the blood. It's not our blood.
Right. It says hanefesh hu badam. Also, sometimes says that hadam hu hanefesh. Right. So it depends. But basically, he's saying that the physical nefesh of animals is actually a physical thing.
Wait, Moshe, the Dorm Father, said there's a midrash that said pre-Noach, animals could talk and had like similar souls to like human souls. Is that like
Really?
That's, I don't know so much.
I mean, it talks about the snake in Gan Eden.
Was able to talk.
Yeah, but I don't know if that continued after Gan Eden. I mean, the truth is the animals communicate, but they don't talk.
But I think
There's a
he's
difference.
saying like a similar soul. Interesting.
I mean, it is possible.
Yeah, he has that
Yeah.
book.
I mean, if there is...
Shlomo Melech had the ability to speak to animals.
Yeah. And also the Arizal, yeah.
I want to read that.
Okay, in any case, the soul, what we call the soul, the nefesh of animals is min haddakim shebegashmiyut. It's one of the most refined physical thing that can be described. U'me'inyano nimtza gam kein ba'adam. Now we also have an animal soul. B'vechinat hayoto ba'al chai, because after all we are living beings, and there's a part of us that is keeping us alive, but it's physical. Because besides this nefesh, we also have a neshama. Okay, again, we said the neshama is a spiritual being that enters into the body, as opposed to the nefesh, it's intertwined within the body. And like even after a person dies, what keeps the bones alive is the nefesh is still there, because it's part of it. But the neshama is min bri'a b'fnei atzmo. It's something that is completely created separate from the body. Nivdal min haguf legamrei v'rachok mimenu ad ma'od, and it's very, 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 very distant from it, meaning that it's very hard to compare them. Right? There are, for example, in the Tanya and in the Midreshet, it talks about how there are 613 parts of the body, and they parallel the 613 different layers of the soul, and that's why the soul uses the body to be able to perform the mitzvot, because it's it parallels it, okay? But it's not to say that it's similar to it.
365.
They're called
Same
sinews
days,
or
yes.
whatever, like the parts that keep the body together. Yeah. All right, 365 days of the year. Right. Okay, moving on now to paragraph 2. Okay, physical beings we can experience. Right, and it's easy to find out, you can learn about the different laws that govern nature, the different types of species, what they are, and how to utilize them. But it's very difficult to try to picture what the spiritual dimension is, because they are beyond our imagination. Okay, he's going to talk about more in section 3, that the concept of imagination is that it takes things from our senses and it could make it into like different forms. Right? That's what you could imagine a horse, with like a human head and chicken feet and a tail of a dragon, right? Because it's just taking different things from the physical world and putting into different things, all the fantasy.
I see angels every day, so I'm just telling you about my sights.
No, that's what you think the angels look like, right?
But I have a question, just for a second. Sorry, back to the Shiddim for a second. We'll get to it, but it says that you will mistakenly think that they're spiritual. Is that because spiritual he's defining only as connected to Hashem? So because they are spiritual, it said that they're in between spiritual and physical. But are you saying that they're not holy because their goal is not like an angel to serve Hashem? Is that what he means that it's not spiritual?
No, because we're going to see there are negative angels also. It depends on their mission, right? Another word for angel, malach, also means messenger, right? As opposed to, for example, we're going to see. I'm pretty sure it's in this, a little bit later in this chapter. Like, what is the root of evil? Right? If we're talking about, there's what in Kabbalah talk about this, the Sitra Achra. That means basically anything that is not kadosh. Okay, and kadosh we learned about in last week's class. Kadosh means that is being utilized specifically and only for the purpose and intention that Hashem created it for. Right?
Oh, wow.
Like you have a knife. A knife is not meant for stabbing people.
No.
Okay, that's considered a chilul, right? You're using it for the wrong purpose, right? Use it for cutting things, for food, for preparing, to doing shchita, whatever, etc., to do a brit milah. So I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but basically we're going to see that everything that Hashem created, because we have free will, has the potential to be utilized both ways, right? As Shlomo Melech says, "Zeh le'umat zeh bara Elohim." Right? You can use this for good, you can use it for bad. And we're going to see also that every time we do something wrong, we create a negative angel that sustains that activity and that thought process and encourages us to continue it.
They tell us to keep doing it.
They keep whispering, so to speak, in our subconscious, that, you created me through this act, do it again because I'm feeling weak.
And you're saying the way you do full tshuva is if you don't even remember because you don't even have those thoughts.
You starve them to death until they stop coming back, and then they're gone.
So if somebody has a thought like, I know this person who's like, I have to break Shabbat, like I just can't. I need to do a certain thing. I need to break. Like it's like a need, and they don't understand why they have to do it. So you're telling me that's a demon, like, or a shady that's like, do it, like that, like.
Sort of. I mean, we'll see. There's I guess that's what I mentioned before. That once you say that word, people don't want to let go. In the Talmud, talks about something called mazikim. Okay, mazikim, I'm pretty sure is a
Marvel?
No, a mazik is a destructive angel. Okay, which is, I think, one of the terms that they use when they talk about the shadim. They call them destructive angels. And what they do is they whisper in your ear. There's a story. We'll finish this hopefully, and then we could move on. There's a story in the times of the Mishnah that says, like, for example, a person shouldn't walk around alone outside at night because that's when the mazikim are flying around the world and they might cause you damage. So there was a story once about I think it was Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, maybe one of the tzaddikim in the days of the Mishnah, and he was walking alone at night, and suddenly he saw a huge army of 10,000 demons approaching him. With their officer was like this woman, a female demon, and they just stood there and watched.
Hey, women's empowerment, yeah. You go, girl, Satrafa. Hey.
So they just stood there and watched him walk by, and then he's like, aren't you supposed to like try to hurt me? And they're like, no, we can't touch you. Like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, you don't hear what they talk about you in heaven, you know? Like, if you say one thing, they listen to you. Like, we don't want to mess with that.
Wow.
So then he,
Really?
so he's like, oh, is that so? Then I take away,
Wait, say that again?
because they're always talking about you in Shamayim, that whatever you decree, they make happen. And we don't want to mess we don't want to mess with you. So he says, well, then I decree that you have no power to cause any harm to people except for Tuesday nights and Friday nights. Okay?
Tuesday nights and Friday nights.
Yeah. So I'm not sure why. Doesn't explain in the Gemara like why.
Is that shopping now?
Yeah, like Shabbat, stay home. Okay, that's why on Shabbat we just stay home anyway. But also, it's only if you walk around alone at night. Like if you're with somebody, it's fine.
All the time. I walk around at night in every country I've been in.
Right. So now I have.
2 a.m.
So now
I thought he was going to say only people who are.
the story's not finished. The story's not finished.
Oh.
Okay, so then it happened again. I think with Rabbi Yehuda was walking a different time on the Friday night, and again they all appeared and they saw him and they're like stood aside. He said, "What's going on?" He's like, "Well, you're Rabbi Yehuda. You know what? We can't touch you." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, then I from now on you have no more permission to harm anyone ever at night in Israel."
In Israel?
In Israel.
Yeah. Okay, so then the Talmud asks, but wait a minute, Hashem created them for a purpose, so what do they do now? Like, what's their... If they can no longer harm people, so then what are they doing? So it says they whisper in your ear while you're sleeping and try to convince you that you like saw a tzaddik or something in your dream that tells you, you have to go and do this now.
Are you serious?
Stop!
I mean, that never
Stop! You know,
happens to me,
people I know that like
say
say
that
that
God told them stuff.
Yeah, so that's why they do
How are you
that.
living in like a different world? This doesn't affect like momish.
So how do you know?
I don't have so many experiences.
You ask Hashem, but also
I have.
so that's one of the main reasons why we really have to have kavan when we say the Kriyat Shema L'mitah. It says to protect us from these false images.
I know people that are like, I did tshuva because this so-and-so rabbi came into my dream.
Okay, well, that's probably not a shame.
No, that could. So that actually, if that caused, no, I'm talking about like the ones who founded Christianity, for example. Like to do things against the Torah, not to this rabbi came to me in a dream and told me I should keep Shabbos. That's a good thing.
Yeah, this this rabbi took his neshama, was like, you have to come to me, come to me and do tshuva. And he went to him and did tshuva.
I know people.
So again,
it's not real.
It's not to say again. He's going to talk about dreams in section 3, and also this bechla. Like, how do we know to distinguish between are these coming from a holy place or the other side, right? So the holier you are, that's why you also have all these laws of being pure. Like what's called to be tahor, right? You do something wrong, you go to the mikvah. You wash your hands before you leave. You wake up in the morning, wash your hands. You come out of the bathroom, wash your hands. Like all these things are also to protect us from their infiltration, so to speak.
I would never ask for a massage from someone whose hands were coming.
Yeah, because something specific says that they enter through your fingers.
They enter in my fingers.
So that's why you have to wash your hands after certain things. Yeah.
No, I do know. I'm just.
Okay, so very interesting.
All right, let's try to finish this paragraph before. Yeah, actually, we still have some time. Good.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Oh yeah.
Just, maybe you won't know the answer, but I'm just curious. Like,
She did.
If like, let's say you said that you broke the taiva, like, because you don't have the angel telling you to do anymore. Let's say if you had a taiva many years ago, and then you don't feel it for all those years, and you're like, okay, you broke it, you never like thought about it, you never anything about that taiva anymore. And then all of a sudden, you just wake up, and then like you're like,
it's there again.
Okay, and there it is, and one day, and then you, let's say, even if you don't fall or you don't do it, it's like, why is it coming back to me?
All right, so Rabbi, with Hillel, the elder, explains in Pirkei Avot. It says, "Al ta'amin ba'atzmacha ad yom amotcha." Okay, don't believe that you actually could control yourself as long as you're still alive. And he explains that, the Mefarshim explained that when a person attempts to climb to a higher level, so the things from their past come to try to pull them back down. Right, just like that. That's like the Yetzer Hara, because the Yetzer Hara never sleeps. Right, even when you're dreaming.
It's not that you're growing so much.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're.
It's annoying, but that's why. We ask Hashem for help. It says that Avraham Avinu was able to overcome all of his struggles and challenges because he always asked Hashem for help first before even trying. It's not like he tried and was like, "Oh man, this is too hard. Hashem, can you please help me?"
Please help me, Hashem.
Yeah, like right away was like, "Oh, okay, this seems challenging. Hashem, could you please help me overcome the challenge?" And it says Amad b'kulam, right? That he was able to stand up, and also Chazal explain what it means Amad, like he stood up in prayer. Right? That's what we call Shemon Esrei. It's called the Amidah. Right. So when you sense something is about to challenge you, or like, okay, this seems like it might be challenging. First of all, you ask Hashem, recognize it and ask Hashem for help. Okay, and then enter it, and don't forget to wash your hands. Okay, no, but there is this concept that when you get challenged by old things that you thought you're like, man, I thought I was done with this already, for years. It's because you're seriously about to enter into a whole new stage in life. Right, so it's a good sign, right? But then just ask Hashem for help.
Then you don't have to.
I find that Hashem.
And if you fall,
Then you don't have to.
don't hear.
Meaning, if you do the taiva, you don't have to.
Yeah, it's trying to. Yeah, it's basically like.
Wait. If you fall in the taiva, then you're not.
Then you got to start again. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
No, but you could do it faster and faster every time. It's like you fall off a bike, you just get back on. So the tzaddik falls 7 times, but he keeps getting up.
You get back on.
Yeah.
Fall down.
That's also that you can tell, like, if you're on the path of the tzaddikim, because the Rishaim, it says they fall and they stay down, meaning like, oh, it's comfortable here. I might as well just stay here.
You're like, I'm already bad, so like, why not just do more bad things? Like.
And that's how the Tanya starts. Don't be a Rasha. Don't be a Rasha. If you make a mistake, don't be a Rasha. Stay there. And they fall in the mud, like, oh, okay, I'll start swimming in the mud now. No, get up and clean yourself. Come on. You can't come to shul covered in mud. Oh, who says I want to go to shul? Okay, getting back now, we are bottom of 76. Now, one of the main essential points that we have to remember, that when we speak about spiritual things, whatever exists here in the lower worlds, there are paralleling to them, parallel to these things are the Sfirot. Okay, everything that we experience here unfolds from the Sfirot. Because Hashem he decreed in the creating of the world that that all the lower beings, right, even a book, a piece of chalk, the air blowing out the air conditioner, the root of everything that exists here, all the roots are in the Sfirot. And everything that we experience here is simply being projected from the Sfirot. Okay, this world has no reality of its own. It's simply revealing what's going on in the world of the Sfirot. And they are connected to each other just like links of a chain. Okay, so that is one foundational thing that we need to remember, which definitely affects when we get to the concept of avodah. If you want to change something here in the physical world, you have to go up to the root. Okay, it doesn't help you any change that alternation. Yeah, I think it's a word. Anything that we try to alter here in the physical world is not going to cause anything permanent unless we go back to the root. And if a person gets sick, then you take medicine and you get better, you didn't fix anything.
Oh, like Chinese medicine.
That's a preventative mechanism. Yeah, actually, I think it's still the law in China that if you lose 3 clients, you lose your doctor's degree.
Wait, what do you mean you didn't fix anything?
You didn't change anything. It's like okay, if something spilled on the floor, and I wiped it up. Okay, now it looks clean, but I didn't fix the whole concept of things spilling on the floor. Right? That if a person gets sick, they have to try to figure out what made them sick, so that they could learn from it.
It's like also emotionally, like if somebody's very promiscuous, you stop being promiscuous, but the reason why you're promiscuous is because maybe you're insecure, maybe you have daddy issues, maybe you have mommy issues. That really the root problem is because of the connection of your parents, not
to try to find where it's coming from. But he's saying it's coming from the Sfirot, and he's going to explain later what does that mean it's coming from the Sfirot, because again, we're not all Mekubalim. Actually, none of us, as far as I know, are Mekubalim. Right, the Mekubalim could look at somebody and tell them exactly what they need to do to fix a certain thing. Right, I remember there used to be this tzaddik, Rabbi, I keep forgetting his name. It'll come to me soon. Rabbi Tzion Bracha, yes. Rabbi Tzion Bracha used to live in Nachlaot in Yerushalayim, Right, a small little place. He had a little yeshiva there. And people used to come to him from all over Israel, and also from outside the world, just to get blessings, to ask for help. And when you walk in, he just looks at you, and he knows your name, where you came from, and why you're here.
Is he still alive?
No.
Oh.
No, he died more than 20 years ago.
That's huge. Okay.
And so he literally could see right into your neshama. This is also that's what the Arizal used to do. Like when he spoke to a person, he spoke to their neshama, not to their body. Like he spoke straight to the neshama level. And he would say that, I had a friend that walked in and he says, "Oh, Shalom, Miko. I understand that you're coming because you're asking for help because your father is very sick."
Wow.
And he told him, he says, "Well, your father's time is almost arrived, but this is what you can do to help it be smoother and easier." And wow, it was intense, yeah.
You were there with him?
No, but then he brought me there once. He's like, "Oh, we got to come to this place." I'm like, "What is this place?" He's like, "Oh, it's, this is Tava Mincha."
You spoke to him?
No, I did not speak to him.
But
He looked into me.
He spoke
Yeah,
to
no,
me.
yeah.
I knew him.
Yeah. No, he does
I can
look.
tell my teacher is someone who has been seen by this.
Because they had a tradition there before they davened mincha, and before mincha they would have like a small little class. They would learn halacha. So when I came, they were learning the halacha part. I came with a different friend, and the rabbi whispered to one of his helpers, and the helper went to my friend. He says, "The rabbi's a little bit disappointed in not wearing tzitzit today."
Wow.
And he's like, "Okay."
He's like, "How do you know?"
Yeah. So then I was like staring at the rabbi, like I was like in the process of becoming, religious again, and I'm like, I grew up with like people that were self-proclaimed tzaddikim. I'm like always cautious, like, okay, who is this guy? Like, so I'm like staring at him, like who are you? And all of a sudden he just looks up at me right in my eyes, and he's like, I was like, oh, okay, that's who you are.
Oh, wow.
Sorry to interrupt with my thoughts. All right, in any case, then the Dava Mincha, and I put on my tefillin, and I just started crying, and I felt like my mother was hugging me, and I was like being shaken back and forth.
Wait, that's so beautiful.
And it took them an hour and a half to say Mincha.
What?
Yeah, it's like longer than most people use for Shacharit.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just anyway, it's a very special place. So since then I went back a couple of times, and then
When did he pass away?
he passed away during Sukkot
20 years ago.
about 23 years ago.
Wow, before we were...
And the Amshan of Rabbi actually told the story after he passed away.
Brothers and somewhere in the world at the same time, so I'm saying don't mess. I'm saying.
Right, so the Amshan of Rabbi told a story after he died during the Shiva. He says, "You should just know that we both met on Rosh Hashanah. We went up to the higher courts to see what we're being judged for this year." And it said that there was supposed to be like a very, 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 very horrible thing happening to the Jews in Israel. And it says Rav Tzion Bracha just jumped up and started yelling. He says, "No, you cannot treat your children like this. Take me instead." And then he died 2 weeks later. Yeah.
Chills. He's like,
Yeah.
no! I love it.
Anyway, and Baruch Hashem, it was a good year. All right, any case. So the root of everything is in the Sfirot. We'll talk about them more as the book continues. But that's one thing we have to keep in mind. Od Masoret Be'yadeinu. Okay, so basically what he's telling us here is like when we speak about the spiritual dimensions, it's not like somebody studied them and, could you analyze them under a microscope and you could like learn about them. It says that basically this is all from what's called Masoret. Masoret means traditions that were passed down from our forefathers, from Har Sinai, from the Mukubalim and the prophets. So we have another Masoret, another transmission that they've passed on to us. Sha'al kol etzem v'chol mikra shebanimtzaim hashaffalim ha'ele. Every being and every happening that happens here in the lower world, hufkidu fikidim min asug hamalachi shezacharnu lama'ala. Okay, they are overseen by angels. Umasa'am, and what is the task of the angel? Like, where's their job? Why does Hashem create them? L'kayim ha'etzemahu o ha'mikrehahu v'nimtzaot hashaffalim kifi mashahu. To maintain things as they are. Right? For example, that curtain is being maintained exactly in that position by an angel. Okay, it's not like there's nature that it's now independent, separated from Hashem. Right? Every little drop of the flower here, there's an angel that's making sure it stays there, unless the angel unless the humans interfere, right?
How would a human why? But if a human interferes, so now you made the malach move, but now the angel's back to its place.
No, the angel is there maintaining it so that it doesn't just disappear into nothingness.
And it's not because we're in a room of kedusha. It could have been true if we were in a
No, there's
Or in a
everywhere.
place of a desire.
I'm saying like every leaf on the tree, everything that exists in this world is being maintained by the angels. Okay, I mean obviously for Hashem, through Hashem, but we're going to see that why does it have to be that way? We'll talk about more in section 2. But they have another job also, is lechadesh mashru'i litchadesh mashfalim kifi ha'gzera ha'elyona. When Hashem decrees that something has to change, He also employs the angels to cause that change. Right? Like for example, splitting the sea. Okay, there's the angel who's in charge of making sure that water is always flowing. Right? Then there's another angel like, excuse me, Hashem told me that right now, step aside, we need to split the sea. Okay, so their job is again to maintain things as they are. Right, so like when you leave your shoes in a certain place, you could make sure they'll still be there because the angels are watching over them.
Well, okay, question.
Unless the angel in charge of the dogs comes and says, "Dog, take this shoe and run away with it."
You know how like you randomly do something? It was just here, like my headphones were just here, and I'm like, where'd my headphones go? I'm looking around, look at the same place, nothing, and then piton, I walk away and it's there.
Yeah. Don't know how to explain that. I don't know.
What is that? Yo?
It's like a cloak of invisibility that came over for a second.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I know I left my key here. Now it's gone. Come back next morning, the key's exactly right there. Ask the kids, okay, who took my key and put it back? Nobody touched it.
No.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not sure. But in any case, what he's teaching us again is that the angels, everything that exists is rooted in the Sfirot. Right? It's kind of like there's like a hierarchy. Okay, you have the highest beings are called the Sfirot. Underneath them, there are 10 different classes of angels, the Rambam explains. And then under them is the physical world. Okay, and again, the concept of under means that they are influenced by. Right? If an angel is higher than me, that means he's having more influence on me than I'm having on him. Once I climb the ladder above the world of Yetzirah, which is where the angels come from, then I have control over the angels. Okay, it has to do with where you're holding. Okay, the average person is down here in the world of, hopefully, at least Asiyah. Asiyah means that you're keeping the Torah, which then gives you more control over your emotions, which allow you access to the world of Yetzirah. That's called the world of Ruach. And then once you get to the higher level, the world of Neshama, that's already the world of Bri'ah, which is higher than the angels. Okay, there are also classes of angels in the world of Bri'ah, but there are more what's called like the archangels, like Michael, Gabriel. Like they're more like in charge of more generalized things, as opposed to the angels of Ulama Yetzirah. And we're going to see actually a very beautiful thing, that the way that the angels interact with the earth is through the stars. That's why people worship the stars, astrology, but not just that. That's why there are billions and billions and billions of stars, because each star has control over one specific little thing here on earth. Okay, we have 5 more minutes, so we're going to start the next paragraph. Not sure if we'll finish it. But in paragraph 3, ve'omnam ikar mitziut ha'olam u'matzavo ha'amiti hu b'kochot ha'hem ha'elonim. Okay, but the main true reality of this world is actually in the upper worlds. Okay, so the more you understand how the upper worlds operate, you will understand this world much better. Okay, and that's what Rav Aryeh Kaplan calls the philosophical Kabbalah. To understand the systems, like the different worlds. Like a lot of the Kabbalah books that are written today are describing Kabbalah as opposed to actually practicing it. But just to understand, that there's different worlds, there's different sfirot, there's different ways that they interact, and there's different representatives for them here. Like for example, the sun is an expression of Tiferet. Okay, the moon is an expression of Malchut. Right, there's different things that the wind and the oceans, like each one, if you knew which sphira is more dominant, you're just a little bit more knowledgeable, but doesn't actually have any effect or change on your life. Like, okay, so now I know that the moon is Malchut. What does that mean? Right, but thank you very much. I have 32 teeth in my mouth, which parallel the 32 paths of wisdom.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Right?
No, but that's cool. You're like, wow, that's so cool.
Wow.
Right, so these are cute little things, but again, the Rambam writes, for example, don't study something The Rambam writes, don't study something if it's not going to enhance your love or awe of Hashem.
I love it. No,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, the whole thing about Gematria is like trying to figure out when Mashiach is coming, and he's like, you're wasting your time. Hashem didn't create you to like just think about things that are not going to say irrelevant, but not necessarily altering your status.
You do it, okay. Kabbalah is different.
Okay, so again, the true root of everything, actually the true reality, right? It uses the metaphor of, I don't know if it's still true these days, but in the olden days, they would have in movie theaters a projector. I think that's still how they do it, huh? It's like this little machine, and it shoots light out, and then when the light hits the screen, you see pictures and things moving. Okay, but those things, what's on the screen isn't real. Right? It's coming. It's being projected from the light. So it's saying that this world is a projection of the upper world. Okay, there's light shining down through this field, which he's going to talk about later. That if you stick your hand up, or stand up, during the movie, everyone's like, "Hey, stop it!" Because they're blocking the light. So there's people here that are blocking the light of the Sefirot, that Hashem's trying to send Chesed into the world, trying to send Ahava.
How does one block the light? With a Vero?
Yeah, I mean, more or less. I mean, we'll go more into it, but when a person is doing something that blocks the light of Hashem, which makes it appear that God doesn't exist, right? That's literally blocking the light of Hashem, which we said before is Hester Panim. You're hiding Hashem's existence. By saying all these things, like you see, like politicians, or just even regular people, like, oh, see how strong we are? Like, okay, they're blocking Hashem's light instead of saying, look how awesome Hashem is.
So Hashem also created people that are like, my cousins have no idea what halacha is, no this, no that, and like they don't really care to learn.
Right.
But they were also born in a family that they prioritize business than Torah. Does that make sense? It's more like very extreme.
Yeah. So it didn't yet enter their consciousness that there's something that's more important than just.
But Hashem. Now my aunt had a baby, so this child was born into this situation where he's not gonna understand that this is he's gonna be blocking the light with his averas. You know what I'm saying?
It's not called an Avera if you don't know.
Okay, so he's not blocking the light.
They say, like nowadays, for example, there are very, 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 very few people that actually don't keep Shabbos. No, that are mechalol Shabbos. They don't keep because they don't know what it is. They're not mechalol it. They're not like.
So if someone that's mechalol Shabbat is someone that knows that you shouldn't do ABC on Shabbat,
And they do it anyway.
They know they're not supposed to, but they're actively blocking.
Right. So that's an Avera. Yeah. To drive on Shabbat, because that's what all your cousins do, and you never were raised or learned differently. That's not called an Avera.
So if they punish you for it, but if they know that there's like a concept of Shabbos, but they don't like believe in God or all these things,
they don't know halachas.
Then they don't really know what Shabbos is.
So if
he'll talk about it also in section 4. Is like when you come to learn something about Torah, the mistake that people make is they focus on the details and they don't understand the actual general concept. It's like, what is Shabbos? Oh, that's the day when you can't smoke or drive your car or go to parties. Like, no, that's not what Shabbos is.
What is Shabbos?
Don't have time for that right now. But so basically, we'll continue again. Start paragraph 3 next week. But what he's teaching us here again is that we have to remember that everything that exists in this world is a product, right, or a projection of the upper worlds. Okay, and it goes through the angels. The angels are simply messengers to carry information from the sphere to earth. They go back and forth. That's the dream that Yaakov had when he saw the angels going up and down the ladder. The ones going up are taking what we are doing to go up there to change what's happening, to determine what's going to come down. And the ones that are coming down have a message like, okay, I have to come down now and do this. So the angels are constantly flying back and forth. They say every time we daven, we create angels that fly up to Shemaim. Right, so we're putting in a petition, like, okay, Hashem, I really need this. Hold on, let me go up there and see. Sorry, the road is blocked because of this Avera and this Avera and that Avera. If you do tshuva on this and this and this, then we could bring your prayer up. Right now, we don't have access.
So what if we don't know what to do?
So you have to ask Hashem. Yeah, or to study Torah. I guess the Ramchal writes at the beginning of Mesilat Yesharim, how do you know what to work on? Learn Torah, and then you'll see that, ooh, it says I have to do that. Okay, I don't really... Yeah,
But we can affect each other. We can affect the sphere, and they can affect us. Or could the sphere only affect us?
No, it's a two-way street.
So it's based on what's happening there, but we could change that.
All right, he's going to explain later. It's not that we affect the spheros, but we interfere with what they're trying to give. We could prevent their light from coming here. Right, but they're just constantly shining. Right, like we saw at the end of last week, that Hashem is constantly giving, And it's up to us to learn how to receive it and to not block the shefa.
I'm going to school today.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
We're going to end here.
I'm available tomorrow.